As far as multi-account management, you're going to want to know the difference between the different models and the best practices for cross-account management. You should know how roles and trusts are used to create cross-account relationships and authorizations. And I would encourage you to go out and create multiple accounts and set up roles and set up users and experiment with granting access from account to account. Now, for network controls and security groups, you're definitely going to need to know the difference between NACLs and security groups, and you should know what the capabilities of those are. Know that NACLs are stateless, and definitely get some hands-on NACLs and security groups to really reinforce your knowledge. And also, don't forget our buddies, the ephemerals. For AWS directory services, you need to understand the different types of directory services offered by AWS, especially the AD connector and simple AD, because some of the other types of directory services are more modern and they tend not to show up on the exam. You should understand the hows and whys you would use each type of directory service, and also be familiar with how an on-premises Active Directory implementation might be connected up to AWS to enable stuff like single sign-on. Now, for the credentials and access management topics, you should definitely know IAM and its components. You should know how to read and write IAM policies. You should understand conceptually what an identity broker is, what federation is, what SSO is. And you should know the options and the ways that we can grant temporary authorization to various applications or users. In the encryption space, you should know the difference between AWS KMS and Cloud HSM and the use cases where you might want to use each. Now, the test is likely going to be restricted to the classic definition of Cloud HSM. And if you remember, that's the one where you have to have that upfront payment and you have to buy 2 of them to get high availability. You should also understand AWS Certificate Manager and how it integrates with the other AWS services to provide SSL TLS certificates. Now, for distributed denial of service attacks, you should understand what they are and some best practices to limit your exposure. Plus, you should also know what services AWS has to help try to mitigate the damage that they cause. For intruder detection and intruder prevention, you should understand the difference between IDS and IPS systems and know what AWS services can help. And most definitely, you should know the difference between CloudWatch and CloudTrail. For Service Catalog, know that it can be used to deploy assets without having to give users specific rights. And also understand how it might work in a multi-account scenario. Remember to read through the white papers that I've linked in this lesson. If you're watching on a browser, they're going to be over here. And if you're watching on a mobile device, they're going to be down here when you put the device in portrait mode.